Okay, today on the podcast, we're bringing on a really cool guest with a great story, Elizabeth Paul. So, Elizabeth suffered from a severe spinal cord injury in 2020 and was told that it would be difficult for her to walk again. But that didn't stop her from being crowned the reserve champion in the select showmanship a few weeks ago at the Level 1 West Championships. So, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for coming on with us today to share your story. Let's start from way back in the beginning. What originally got you into showing horses?
Well, I grew up showing horses, doing 4-H and pony club, and kind of started there. I bought my own pony when I was 8 years old, and it just has grown since then. I took a break after I graduated from high school and was going to college and got married, raised some kids, and then when I was, I don't know, about 40-ish, my last was getting ready to graduate from high school, I started to go back to showing again.
What got you back into it? Like, why did you decide to get back into horses after taking a break?
I couldn't find anything else to fill
Okay.
that gap of desire and wanting to do. I tried golf. I'm really bad. I tried crafts. I tried everything that everybody suggested, and it just nothing stuck. The only thing that I ever dreamed of doing was going back to writing. So my husband said, "You need to do something. Go for it."
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what year was that when you started getting back into horses?
2014.
Okay, so you got like a good 6 years showing, and then your injury happened. So, what
Right.
happened?
So I was at a show. I live in Utah. I was at a show in Florida, and I was warming up for the first class of the show, which was jumping. I had gone over a set of jumps. It was beautiful. Came around to do it again, and they set the jumps really close to the fence. So as I came off that second jump, I had about 2 strides, and then I had to make a hard 45-degree turn to the right.
Mm.
As I came off that and took that turn, my horse lost his footing. We ride in different footing on the West Coast, apparently, because we were on synthetic sand. And as we turned, he lost his footing, and I stayed on for a while, but knew I was going to come off. So my pony club training kicked in, and I knew I couldn't go to the right because he was turning to the right. So I prepared to dismount, I guess, emergency dismount to the left. The only problem was as I came off, it was at enough force that it threw me and I was close to the fence post. So it threw me into the fence post with my spine dead center to the fence post.
Wow.
Wow. So that I like, went through the whole thing that I was thinking of. Okay, I have my helmet on. I can remember everything. Fingers move, toes move. Okay, I think I'm good. I then was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm dizzy a little bit." So I asked for the fence to be moved because it was one of those movable fences.
Yeah.
They moved that so I could lay down. My trainer was there with me and said, "Do you want me to call the paramedics?" My husband has a brain injury. I was like, "We better just be careful and check it out."
Yeah.
They called the paramedics. They came. They thought maybe my leg was broken because it was burning. They then decided that I should go to a different hospital. They asked, what I thought about that. I don't know about you guys, but I don't generally check out hospitals when I'm traveling.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Me either. Yeah. Who knew? Who knew? So they changed to go to a trauma one, and they asked me, do you want us to scoop you out of the sand or do you want to get up? I said, let's just be safe, scoop me out. They were waiting for us at the hospital to take x-rays. My leg was not broken. So they then had me have a CAT scan. That got sent the neurosurgeons who were in the operating room, and a neurosurgeon came down to talk to me, introduced himself, was checking me out, and he said, "You've broken your back." I was in complete shock.
Wow.
I
Wow.
would have never even guessed, and he was like, "But you could move." And I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, well, according to your CAT scan, you should be paralyzed.
Wow.
Wow.
That was a huge shock to me. It ended up, he got a call during that time. They had originally planned for me to go into surgery the next morning, but as the head neurosurgeon checked out the CAT scan, then called the neurosurgeon that was talking to me and asked him to go get me directly into an MRI. They would meet me there and take me into emergency surgery.
Wow.
Wow.
Kind of a shock that you never want to hear.
No. I mean, that just sounds like it all happened so quickly.
It was very fast. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning that happened, and I was in surgery by about, I'm guessing, around 11 o'clock.
Wow.
So pretty quick.
Wow.
When they talked to my husband about doing the surgery, they told him it was kind of necessary. We did have the option, but they told him I would not walk out of the hospital if I didn't have surgery.
Wow.
Wow. So what was the surgery for? What did the surgery help fix?
So I had an L3 burst fracture. So basically what that is on impact, it blew apart my L3 vertebrae and went into my spinal cord.
Mm.
Wow.
I had spinal cord fluid leaking in my body. They needed to repair the L3 vertebrae with cadaver bone. Then I have rods going down both sides of my spine for the whole lumbar spine, L1 to L5.
Wow.
Wow. That's an invasive surgery. Like, that's a big surgery.
Yeah, I do not recommend reading surgical notes.
I bet not.
So when you woke up,
Nasty.
what was your initial thoughts? Did you try to move, and could you move after the surgery?
Right after the surgery, they have you lay pretty still for a while, but they had me up walking within 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Wow. What was that like to walk right after that?
Huh. It's really hard to walk again.
Yeah.
So they help you up. They had me in, I think it's called a tortoise shell kind of a thing. Basically, it holds chest to waist, well, hips, and it keeps you all put together, kind of like a brace-ish kind of a thing. They help you up, and then they give you a walker, and they had people on all sides of me kind of help lift me up. And then they told me, we just need you to walk. Doesn't really matter how far, but you need to walk. So we walked, I don't know, probably like 15, 20 steps. And I was like, done. I can't do this.
Wow.
So it's pretty brutal. To start to learn to walk again?
Was it mentally taxing or physically or both?
Both. Because you're trying to figure out mentally, what happened. How does this all affect me?
Mhm.
You're hurting really bad. How am I going to do this? And then things don't move like you think it should.
Wow.
Your body it's hard to stand up and move your legs, where pre-accident, you don't even really think about it. And then all of a sudden, with all your mental strength, physical strength, one step at a time.
And I'm assuming that they had you on, a bunch of drugs and painkillers and everything, but I would assume that it was pretty painful too.
Very painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the pain like?
I would say before I went into surgery, it's some of the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. The only way I can think to maybe even describe it is I equate it to maybe like being hit by lightning. It
Wow.
burned so incredibly bad. When they would move me to the CAT scan or to the MRI, like I would just scream and it couldn't even help it. It would just come out.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from. Like no control over it. Post-surgery, not that bad, but still intense pain that you just can't get out of.
Wow. What was your recovery like?
The recovery is incredibly long. I really couldn't walk by myself for, I would say, like with a walker, I still couldn't walk by myself for about 4 months. And then post, even with a walker, it was probably 6 months until I could walk or even start to drive. Yeah, it takes a long time.
What was that 6 months like for you?
For me, it was horrible because I'm a doer, not a sitter.
Oh,
Yeah.
What? And, I did have physical therapists come to my house, and the accident was in December. In June is when I started to go to physical therapy somewhere else. But I would be up moving for the exercises that I was to do, but it's very wearing. So it was just a lot of laying down. They want you to kind of be calm and not move a lot, other than the exercises that they have you do.
were you thinking about horses during this time, or were you just trying to get back up to be able to do daily life?
So this is probably not like normal people, but since we're talking horses here, I think a lot of people can imagine. The first question I had for the surgeon when he came in to see me after the surgery was, "Can I ride again?"
Yeah.
And he chuckled and he said, "You horse girls, that's always the first question."
It always is.
Wow.
I asked the same thing. So I had a surgery the very first time I ever rode a horse. I fell off and I broke my arm. And
Ooh.
after surgery, that was the first question I asked. I was like, "When can I get back on?" And he's like, "You're not even a horse girl yet. That was your first time." I'm like, "I know, but
I am a
this is
horse
what I'm gonna
girl.
be doing."
Yeah.
But I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're just born with it.
That's exactly right. So I asked that. His response was, "Well, I think you'll be able to ride again. I just don't know, like, what kind of level you'll be riding." And from there, it really was the reason I learned to walk again.
Mm.
And that was always the thought was, if I can walk, I can ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I mean, that's logical to me. Yeah. I don't know if it's logical to a surgeon, but it's logical to me.
Uh, so did that. I would say learning to walk was hard. Learning to climb stairs was brutal. I still have some issues with that, but that's the ultimate worst. Stairs.
What about stairs makes it like, is it the stability of, like, when you go to step one leg up and then bringing that other leg up to match it? Like, what piece of it is challenging for you?
Getting my leg to move right is the biggest thing. And still to this day, every once in a while, it just doesn't work right. I used to have to, probably with the first year after the accident, I would get into a car and then I would have to lift my left leg into
Mm.
the car.
Wow.
So it just didn't work right. And then the mental drain of, oh my gosh, this is so hard. And how am I going to get this to work?
Yeah.
So leg strength still when I ride is really hard. I would say from my waist down. So if you cut me in half at my waist and then plus in the middle vertically, my whole left side and left leg down to the bottom can go numb at times. And so sometimes when I'm riding, it will go numb and I can't really feel and my leg strength gets off.
So is that from nerve damage or is that like sciatica type pain? Like what causes the not being able to feel things in the left leg?
Nerve damage.
Wow. And what do you do when that happens?
I ride through it. I just
Atta
kind of
girl.
pretend it's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that first ride like?
So I had to start back riding at lead line. They cleared me to start quote unquote riding, i.e. lead line,
Right.
about a year, just under a year from when my accident happened. And literally it was, okay, I need people there to get me on the horse and all I can do is sit there while someone leads me around.
Yeah.
From going from doing really well in 2019, I was for APHA, I was #1 in the world all around for the year end.
Wow.
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 So I felt like I went from the top of the world to the very bottom and back to lead line. Mentally, it was brutal to be like, oh my gosh, I used to could ride really well. And now I'm being led around on a horse.
So, would you say your recovery was more challenging for you mentally than it was physically?
Ooh, both were hard because
Yeah.
you have the physical part that doesn't work anymore and in constant pain. I think that really gets into your brain. It just wears you down mentally. And then you have to come with the realization of life is different. You can't go back. And there's not a lot of people to turn to figure out, like, is this normal? Am I ever going to be able to do whatever again? So I would say that that mental part is pretty rough because you just, it's hard to get answers.
So, what was your outlet during that year-long recovery before you could get on again? Because I assume once you started riding again, then, you could probably start to make goals, horse-related goals, and see a little bit more of a light at the end of the tunnel. But what would you do to help pull yourself up out of the dark days? I assume that there were.
Yeah, there were some dark days. I told a couple of people, there were times I wish I was paralyzed.
Oh, no.
I talked to a couple of people. I did see a lot of miracles in that time, and that really helped. And there's a person who lives right near me, and she would come over and take me for a ride in her car, and we would talk horses because we did show horses together, but she had retired about the same time, retired from showing about the same time as my accident. And so she would like pick me up and take me to a horse show. And she'd
Oh.
be like, we'll just be here however long you can handle. And, sometimes it was just a couple hours and we lived an hour away from the horse show. So it was
Wow.
taking us, as long or longer to drive to the horse show as I could even handle being there. So talking to horse show people really helped. I had another person that lived pretty close by me that actually, through my church, she was assigned to come talk to me. And come to find out, she was a therapist and she did horse therapy.
Oh, that's
Oh my gosh, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. And so she would talk to me about, okay, how are you feeling? And just having that outlet was really good for my mental psyche. And then the best day was when the snow was gone and my husband could drive me to our barn, which is like, I don't know, not even 100 feet away.
Oh.
So, but I couldn't walk out there. So he drove me there so I could at least look at a horse um,
Oh.
and help me get out and at least pet them. And so that became really important to me is just even be able to stand next to them with help and
yeah.
just pet them.
What were your horses doing during your time when you had to take some time off?
So this is also probably a stupid, crazy horse girl thing, but I did bring my current show horse home. And so he was just out in my barn. I bought another horse.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Tell me about that. Yeah.
So I was like, I was talking to my trainers and we're like, okay, thinking for the future. And I'm going to come back. I'm working towards coming back. Don't know how long, but gonna get there. But thinking, oh, I probably need a step up horse. So they went out and found me a horse. I rode the horse like once and then I sold it. Just didn't end up being the right horse for me. And it was young and I didn't want to fall off again.
Yeah. Fair.
Very fair.
So, and I knew my old show horse. I knew what I was getting on. I knew what I had. He was the first horse I got on post accident. So, and that's the horse I just won with.
There's something to be said for in the industry. We're always moving on to the next thing, always getting the next horse, getting the next outfit, the next saddle, winning at this next horse show. And sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes it's about a horse that you trust and have a connection with. And that makes it so much more special to me, just knowing your story that you just won this fantastic, amazing, incredible title on your horse. And that was the first horse that you got back on after your
Yeah.
accident. Like, that is so cool.
I just can't even imagine getting rid of him now because we've been through so much.
Absolutely.
Even if I do need a step up horse at some point in time, I don't plan on ever getting rid of him.
That's so cool.
Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pin anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and I'm here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopindowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
So, what was the first horse show that you went to with him after the accident?
So the first horse show I went to was in Ogden, Utah. I did 2 classes. I was going to do equitation and horsemanship. So we are talking, 5 minutes
Yep.
of riding. They pretty much warmed up the horse for me, and I got on and went in and showed and came out and got off. And that felt like a lot of riding.
I bet.
And especially I came back. I had changed trainers because my horse had been in Texas, and to relearn to ride, I needed someone close to home. So with the new trainers, they helped me I literally, when I went back to a trainer, I could walk around on the horse. So I'd graduated from lead line to walking around.
Wow.
It took us a while to get me back to the strength. So I think it was June 2022 when I first went back. Did very little riding, very, very little practicing, and we went for it. Not going to say I won. I don't even remember how I did. Like, just getting back in the arena felt like a win to me. That was like winning a world championship.
I bet it felt more meaningful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then just gradually over time strengthened. We had to figure out how I could ride differently. Sitting in certain saddles doesn't feel great anymore with as much impact as there is on your back. And we had decided all I could do was equitation and horsemanship. I really didn't think I would add any other classes.
That's incredible that you could do the equitation because, the posting and the hand gallop and everything, was that difficult to get back to?
That's way easier than the trot for me.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. In the course of all the physical therapy, and I went to physical therapy for well over a year, I can't tell you how many squats I've done. So by the time I got back into the saddle and was able to trot, or, we were looking at moving on from, okay, we're going to add to the walk. What are we going to do? Talking to the physical therapists and my trainers, figuring out what's next. I do ride a big hunt seat horse. So we went for the trot, and it was amazing how much easier it was for me to post than sit.
Do you think that's because the concussion of sitting bothered your spine too much? What about the sitting is challenging for you?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. Ellie, you probably could figure out this much better than I can, but I do think it's the concussion because I can feel every bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what specifically do you feel? I just because I'm curious, the fitness nerd over here. Like how I would imagine that it would feel is it maybe feels like there's not enough like muscle to support your spine, and it probably just feels like every time you sit that concussion is just going straight up your spine into that L3, and it just feels almost like stabbing pain. At least that's what it feels like for me for my back injury. That's what it feels like if I do a sitting trot and like my muscles aren't supporting me enough.
I would say yes, that I would agree with that. The other thing is the whole lumbar spine L1 to L5. I just feel like it's like crunching together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even
And I
though
bet
it's not, it can't
even
move.
yeah. So I bet that it's really hard for you to do like quick maneuvers, like an extended trot to a stop or like a square corner or things like that. Challenging for you?
Square corners aren't so hard.
Okay.
If I extended trot, super difficult
Yeah.
for horsemanship. We really had to figure out how I could ride that again. I can't do it. Like, you know how you sit and you kind of scoop?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
cannot do that at all now. Yeah.
Dressage hips is what I think about when I'm doing the
Yeah,
extended trot. Yeah.
exactly. And that's why I can't do that. So I do like a little Western pleasure jog, side to side kind of a
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
I have to do that for the extended trot.
What's funny is I actually kind of have to do the same thing. So my back injury is in a very similar area. It's down in my lumbar spine, and it's
Mm.
really hard for me to get the front to back range of motion in my lumbar spine. So like the extended trot and the extended lope actually is the hardest gait for me because I'm missing that lower spine range of motion. And
Yeah.
so I actually have to do the same thing in an extended trot. I have to find like the side to side motion of the trot instead of the up and down motion of the trot. Otherwise, I can't follow the range of motion with my back and my hips.
Yeah, same. It does not
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. It's so frustrating to go from being a really strong rider to then having an injury that is physically limiting because your mind and your body knows what it's supposed to do, but it
Mhm.
just can't do it anymore. It's so frustrating.
And that muscle memory is super hard to overcome.
Yeah. Yeah, because once you've been injured, then you have to retrain your body how to work around this new injury that you have. Like things aren't they're just not the same in your body anymore.
Yeah.
So what was I know that the trot you said has been really hard for you physically. What else has been physically or mentally challenging for you since coming back?
I would say mentally challenging. I had to come to terms with I'm not going to be the same and I may not even be able to ride. And so then, I started thinking, well, what else could I do? Could I do halter? But actually walking in an arena is pretty difficult.
So then what inspired you to add showmanship to your repertoire?
So showmanship has been my favorite class since I was a youth.
Me too.
Me too.
I love the partnership and just how close you need to work together. Not that you don't in the other classes, but like you have to make it look just beyond beautiful and easy. And I
Yeah,
think that's difficult.
it
Um,
is. Yeah, you're totally right. You have to be so connected. And
yeah,
just really through your hand. That's it.
yeah,
You don't have your
yeah,
legs, you don't have your seat. It's
nothing.
like it's almost like your energy has to be the
Yeah,
same.
Yes, that's a
yeah,
great way of putting it, Ellie.
that really is. Yeah. So that was always kind of like, oh, darn, I can't do this. That was probably the most brutal to give up. And I was like, oh, hey, physical therapist, could I do a showmanship class? They're like, well, really, we'd like you to either ride or run. You can't do both.
Of
But they're
course.
like, they told me, well, if you didn't practice hardly at all and you just went in the class. So my first class back to showmanship was June of 2024. I
So
had been
not that long ago. Not even a
no,
year ago.
no. I had contemplated it, but I was like, I just don't know how to get it to work. Because again, my left leg, like sometimes it just drags. So I showed up at a show and I told my trainer, hey, I want to try. And she's like, okay, well, we can warm your horse up. And I was like, yeah, if you can warm my horse up, I'll just go in, knowing that it was like a beyond small show. It was pretty much my barn and a couple other people. I knew everybody. I knew I would be safe, even if I got out into the arena and just turned around and was like, never mind, I can't do this. We did practice once the night before to see if I could even get through it, but I didn't run during that. I just would walk. Then the day of the show comes, I'm ready, kind of. They warm up for me. I went out. I actually got through it. And on the mental side, like I turned, I made my last walk and I was coming out and I just started to cry because, oh my gosh, I actually did
Oh,
it.
so
And I didn't
cool.
fall down and I made it.
So amazing.
That's amazing.
And the whole bar was like right there with me, and a lot of tears that day from a lot of girls and women. And that was really cool. But I won the class.
Oh my
Shock of all
gosh.
shocks.
Shut up.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we did the rest of 2024. We just kind of would look and see how much trotting there was to the pattern.
so let's talk about that freaking level 1 pattern, man, because I don't know that I've seen so much trotting. They made you extend the trot straight out the gate.
Right.
Like
Right.
how, and you had to do that tight turn, and that was a lot of trotting. Like how did
It
you prepare
was.
for that one?
Well, I practiced once and that's it.
Wow. So how are
And it
you
did not go
how
well, by the
how
way.
could you practice? What the practice didn't go well?
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
Obviously you figured it out.
Yes, really, I think it comes down to I used to love it and I used to do well. So I think muscle memory kicks in.
Yeah.
Truthfully, if I would have known what the pattern was, I would not have entered it
That's
because,
fair.
yeah,
That's
it
probably
was
why
a
they
lot
make
of
people
trotting.
do their entries before they put the pattern down.
Yeah.
Right. But I was like, mentally, I was like, well, now what? Same kind of mindset. Actually, every time I go in, I'm like, whatever happens, happens. Even there, I was like, if I just can't do it, I just can't do it. It's fine. I'm out there doing things for fun now, not necessarily to go out and win.
Yeah.
But when I started that pattern, my brain really just kind of clicked off and I was very quiet out there. I really wasn't thinking about much besides just go have fun. That was the parting words to my trainer is don't worry about it. Just go have fun.
Cool.
And
That's
that's
so cool.
really what I was thinking the whole time was we're out here and this is a win no matter what happens.
That is so
Uh,
cool. So, like we talked about a couple minutes ago, showmanship is about connecting with your horse and your
Mhm.
energy matching their energy and all about like how well you can execute a pattern, basically.
Mhm.
So, if you can't practice, how do you do so well? How do you do it?
Really, I think it's spending a lot of time with my horse. When I got him in 2016, 17, he was a horrible showmanship horse, and I thought I was done forever.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
yeah, like he couldn't back one step, let alone four. So I think a lot of that time bonding, we do have a really good connection. You know, we've had to learn how to deal with life now. And I think just spending a lot of time with him. And even before I ever came back to doing showmanship, I would still like just standing around, I would do a pivot or we would do a showmanship walk or I would back a couple steps. I think it's really, truly that connection you have. He's turned out to be a fabulous showmanship horse. I think he wants to work for me too. I
Oh,
think it's a two-way street
Horses
because
know.
there's horses
yeah,
definitely know. Yeah,
they do. They totally know. So, you said you go to church, correct?
I do.
Okay, so I don't necessarily go to church, but I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And so maybe the reason why he was a bad showmanship horse was because you two had to figure out how to do the showmanship together. That way, after your injury, you could kind of go back to all that time that you guys spent together. Because without that, who knows if you would be able to do as well in the showmanship? Because, like you said, I think it's all about that connection. So, because you had already built that connection, I mean, I'm assuming that that's what contributes to your success.
I am certain of that. I think without that connection, it would be hard to do anything
Yeah.
Yeah.
today,
I think
whether
so
it's
too.
showmanship or equitation or horsemanship, because I have to trust him now that everything's going to go well. And he has to trust me that I'm going to get us into good spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Since you can't prepare quite as much before going into the class, do you do a lot of visualization or what's your mental prep before going into these shows, especially like the level one, the big one with a lot of running and extended trot that were involved in that?
So I will stand in the aisleway and I will visualize, okay, this is exactly what I want it to look like. This is what my pattern is. Visualize like what I see as my perfect pattern. Then I will actually walk and practice the pattern in the aisleway. I will go to the next spot and I will envision, okay, what am I going to do? What am I thinking about here? And go through every step of the way in the pattern several times. So even though I'm not out there running in the arena, in the aisleway where it's very small, I'm envisioning what it looks like in the arena while I'm walking in the aisleway.
Yeah, that is so important because neural pathways will be formed when you're doing the visualization that are very similar to when you're actually doing it. So that's really cool that you found that to be a useful tool and have added in so many different aspects, both like imagining you're in the arena, knowing what you would physically be doing if you were doing it, and just kind of like doing a play by play. Like that is perfect. Like that's exactly what I would do too. And that's really cool that that works for you.
I will also walk in the arena, no matter showmanship or a riding class. If it's like an arena in Las Vegas, I'll go up in the stands and I'll look for those visualization points as well. So I know exactly where all my points are. That's very important to me. So I know it exactly where I want to be at what point in time.
Yeah, so I definitely do the same thing, and I think that when you have some sort of an injury, you have to be so much more aware of those sorts of things, and maybe this is just for me and how my injury impacts my body, but I have to know exactly where I'm going, and I have to prepare my body for the next movement a couple strides before it happens. So if
Mhm.
I'm playing a little bit of a guessing game in the arena about where I'm supposed to go, then it's really hard for me to focus on the position that I have to put my body in so that I can do the maneuver the best that I can physically. Because if I
Mhm.
can't do it very well, then how can the horse do it very well? So I think that that's great that you do that. And like I said, I know that without that piece, like if I just had to go and it doesn't matter if it's a riding class or a showmanship class, if I have to go and do that pattern blind without laying it out in that exact arena with the exact spots that I'm gonna do, like, I never perform very well.
Yes, exactly. Another mental thing I do is I have to calm myself down essentially and, just go through, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do well. These are the things I'm working on. I don't need to win. I just need to make it in the arena. I need to just relax. So I try and relax myself as well.
How do you relax yourself?
I have to be down there a little bit early, and I like to just walk around in the warm-up pen and just, I guess, meditation and feel my horse and
Yeah.
get to the point I'm like, "Okay, we're just walking. It's okay." You know, I basically talk myself through, "Hey, this is fun. Theo, you're the most amazing horse ever." So it's more, I don't know. I'm not super good at that. I wish I was better at calming myself down. But
But it sounds like you have a process that works for you. So you must be doing something right there.
yeah, well, lately, yes. taken a while, though. The mental game, I think, sometimes is as hard, if not harder, when you're showing.
Absolutely. Did
I,
the
I
in
second that.
yeah.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. I wanted to take a moment to thank our very first gold sponsor, Hobby Horse Clothing Company. If you're looking for a cost effective way to elevate your look at the horse show, check out what Hobby Horse has to offer. From budget friendly crystal jackets to simple show shirts to stylish lifestyle tops, Hobby Horse has everything you need to look your best. Look good, feel good, show good. Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So, if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the Become a Supporter or Become a Sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t-shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats. We have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends.
Did your injury affect your mental game? Or do you think that the whole process of overcoming this injury and being able to walk has made you mentally stronger as a showman? I think a couple of things. I think it has made me mentally stronger, but I also think I had to come to terms with I'm competing against myself. I'm not going out there to win. I love to win. That drive is never going to go away. But I've had to really talk myself through that's not the end all be all. I'm out here to have fun and I'm out here to do my best, but I don't move like everyone else does anymore. And that's okay.
Yeah. I know it was a couple weeks ago, but do you remember? Because you talked about how you do a little bit of like your visualization and laying out your pattern in the aisle before you go and show. Do you remember what that looked like when you were preparing for level one? Like, do you remember the things that you were telling yourself you needed to make sure you were really good here or really strong here, or you need to find this spot? Like, do you remember the exact visualization you went through?
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear it.
So they actually moved the cone, which was very disturbing to me.
That's so
Uh,
rude.
I know, I know. So I saw that they moved it, and so I adjusted for where my spots were. Like, and this is like a couple of people before me. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Of course.
So I was like, okay, this is my plan. These are my spots. I see where the judge is. So I know, okay, here's my first cone, extended trot. I'm standing at the cone, square, ready to go. I trot off to my first spot, across from the judge, stop. I think it's, I don't know, 1.25 turn or something like that, to where I'm pointing back out or pointing to over to the stands where the concessions are. and we back 5 steps. And it's a beautiful straight back, and we're going to get it right off. So, like, that's one of the last things I practice before I go in. Probably irritates everybody else that's standing right there, but I need to practice backing because my horse gets sticky. After we've done that beautiful straight back, then we're going to trot off just at a normal speed. And we do a circle going to the left, come down back that same exact line that we had just trotted up. We're coming straight down that line. Then we break to a walk, and then we do a square corner. Now we're headed straight to the judge. And then halfway between, we pick up a trot again. We get close to the judge. I always have to remember, don't run them over. So stop a little sooner than you think. We're going to stop. We're going to have a fabulous setup. By the way, my setup did not go as splendidly as I had planned. It was all right.
It never does.
It was just all right. It would be lovely if he would have stopped square. But
Right?
we stop. We have a good inspection, moving crisply. He comes back, excuses us, 3/4 turn. That went very well. He held his frame. That's the biggest thing we have to work on, is holding a frame when we're pivoting. Not so much the pivot foot moving, but keep a good frame and then walk with purpose out. And I always I tell myself that. I don't just say I walk out. I walk with purpose.
I love that.
I love that.
And that
Yeah, because it's the last impression that you give the judge right before they give your F&E. So, you want that to be a good impression.
So, stand up straight and tall, look straight ahead, and don't stop showing until you are out of the arena.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my visualization.
I love
For
that. I love
that.
how detailed that is. I think that's perfect. So when they were doing the final placings and they were calling the numbers down and you realized you had made it into the top 3, which gets a trophy, how did that feel?
I actually was starting to shake and starting to cry.
Oh.
Because I couldn't believe it was happening to me with everything that had happened to me. Just to be out there, I was like ecstatic to make it the finals. I figured I would. I figured I could be top 10 with the pattern that I did. But to get down into that top 5, and now everybody is good at that point.
Yeah.
Really good. And it was a tough group of women. I generally try not to watch too many because it starts to freak me out.
Me too.
But so I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And we get down to that top 3. And then I'm starting to tear up and like, I cannot even believe this is happening. And then when they call my name, it wasn't even like, oh my gosh, I didn't win. It was like, I can't believe this just happened.
Wow.
But so it was so exciting to be able to even get back in the arena and then to put the pattern down that we did was so amazing.
So incredible.
Yeah.
So cool. I mean, it just such a cool story. When the Equine Chronicle posted the video about you talking about, how a couple years ago they said that you probably couldn't walk and then you becoming a reserve champion in the showmanship, I immediately sent it to Lauren and I was like, we have to have her on. Like, this is such a cool story.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
And it
Yeah, miracles do happen.
absolutely. And it's
They
a
do.
testament to your hard work and your mindset to be able to persevere and just the love that you have for your horse, right? And how that bond helped to get you through what could be possibly the hardest moment of your life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will say, it's really taken a team of people. I mean, I've done all the work I could do, and, I'm always trying to pick up on different tips. I had actually stopped by Lily's booth and picked up her card because I was like, oh, I need to figure out, okay, what are my next steps and how can I keep improving? But it takes that team of everybody to get you there. It's me doing the work and figuring that out. But it's, my husband's support, my trainers, Mike and Robin Jung, have been just nothing short of amazing and helping me get here and trying to figure out how do we get me to move differently? What's going to work with my situation now? How do we get my horse prepped? Because that looks different than it used to. And, just everybody's support. I think that mentally is really helpful. And then miracles.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They do happen, and that team helps make it happen.
Yeah, showing horses, it might be an individual sport, but it's so not at the same time. You have a team. You can't
Yeah,
do it without your team,
right, right.
which is so cool. So I'm curious how horse shows look for you because I would imagine, especially at a facility like the South Point, it is all concrete and there's a lot of walking that you have to do. You have to walk to your stalls, you have to walk to the arena, you have to walk to your hotel room, you have to walk up that huge flight of stairs to get up to the pavilion so you can watch. Like there's a lot of walking on hard surfaces. And then it's also hard because you're sleeping in a hotel room, so you're probably not with your normal bed and your normal pillow, and you're not eating the way that you normally do. So, how do you manage horse shows with your body?
So I would say I try to be careful with what I'm eating while I'm there. It really helps if I can be eating more nutritiously than I used to at horse shows.
Yeah, makes a huge
So
difference.
yeah, so that's one thing. The walking is just brutal. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say I love that they have a massage therapist there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably so nice.
Do you use Leslie or do you use the lady that's up at the vendors?
I've used the lady that's up in the vendors, and she does a
Okay.
great job. I really needed that, so that's been great to have her there. I do take ice packs, and I use those, and I will take times during the day to run up to the hotel room and lay down. I can't walk or sit that much
Hmm.
like I used to, so yeah, I've got to take those breaks. And then I just really have to watch and listen to my body and make sure I'm doing what I need to there. But yeah, the concrete, man, it's brutal.
It is brutal. Yeah, it's terrible,
I don't,
to be honest.
yeah, I wish I had a magic potion to figure out how to make it all better, but I do come home hurting after that.
Yeah. So what I did, because I was there for I wasn't showing, but I was there the whole time and helping my barn, watching my clients show, vendoring. So I was walking around probably just as much as everybody else was. And
Oh,
so what I did is I would ice my feet and my back at night because
mhm.
my shins and my feet and then my back really take a beating from the concrete. And then they have the saltwater spa for horses. But did you know that you can get in it too? Like it's not just for the horses?
What? I had no idea.
Yeah,
So,
so my barn and we rented a human slot and we all got in there. So my trainer and her kid and one of the youth kids, we all got in there together. And I lasted maybe 60 seconds with just up to my ankles. It was so cold.
Ooh.
But that actually really did help my legs a lot. I did that on like day 3 of the horse show. And from day 3 on, my legs felt so much better. So I would recommend doing that.
good to know because I had joked about, oh, I'm going to take my whole horse over there and be like, I'll just stand here with them. Thanks.
No, you can't well, you can't get in there with them, but you can do a
Yeah.
human session, so we did do
Okay.
that.
That is fantastic to know because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will try it out here in a couple weeks.
yeah, are you going back for EMO?
I am. Yes.
Okay, super exciting. I don't think I'll be there, which is sad, but go to the saltwater spa and, yeah, and you can fit up to, like, 10 people in there, so you can take your whole barn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be
It's going to be a
interested to
party.
see. Yes, yes, and make sure that they have the stool in there because
Okay.
when you need to get away from the water, the stool is really handy.
Mhm. I
Okay.
think I would
Uh,
just
Okay.
be
That's
on the
good to know.
stool the whole time, if we're being honest. Cold is not my friend.
Dude, it was so cold. It was so cold. And so what was really interesting is I could stand on my right leg, but my left leg immediately had pain. And I was like, well, that's really strange. Like, why is my right leg fine, but like my left is not? And they were talking about how, so even though my left foot isn't necessarily my problem because my injury is on my left side, I carry more I have more inflammation. I kind of walk funny with my left leg with every step because of my injury. So I just have more inflammation, more pain on the left side of my body in general. And she
Mm.
said that that is likely why my left foot had a really hard time staying in the salt water because the nerves are just so much more sensitive to pain that the cold water just made it flare up. Like, I couldn't put my left leg or my left foot in the water, like, at all. Like, it was so
Oh,
severe.
wow.
So, I'm
Wow.
curious, Elizabeth, if you go and do it, if there's a difference in, like, your left leg versus your right, because you said that the left side is where you get the tingling,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep. It
So,
is.
you'll have to let me know what that's like.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna go try
Yeah.
it just because now I'm curious.
Yeah, yeah, you should. I totally recommend it. Like I said, I think I lasted maybe 60 seconds, so hopefully you can last longer than I did. I was kind of a wimp about it.
I don't know, man. Cold.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
used to not like the cold, and now I'm like, "Oh, ice. Ice."
So maybe you'll like it more than I did. Yeah, it was a lot. The other
We'll
thing that
see.
I did in Vegas is they do have a gym at the South Point. So every night I would take people from my barn and we would go and we would stretch and foam roll. And I did lift weights a couple times I was there, but I made sure that every night before I went to bed, I went and stretched and foam rolled. And that made a huge difference for like my recovery. So I recommend doing that too. That makes a big difference.
Foam roll. I hadn't thought about that, but I think that would probably make a big difference as well.
If if you don't do it regularly, I probably wouldn't start doing it at a horse show.
No, I
So,
do it.
uh,
I do it at home. I
okay,
haven't thought
okay.
about doing it, like, taking it to the horse show, though.
No, they have them there in the
Oh,
gym at
really?
the South Point.
Oh,
Yeah, they have 3 of
perfect.
them. Yeah,
Perfect. I'll
yeah.
go down there.
I will say make sure that you shake out your jeans though before you go because, one
Yeah.
of our youth kids, we were in there one night and, she went to go foam roll her back and she went to go, like, lift her legs in the air and, like, half her horse's stall just, like, fell out on top of her all over the mats. It went everywhere. Oh, it was so bad.
Oh my
It's like, "Oh,
gosh.
they're not gonna let us horse people in here again. Come on, Rachel." But, it was really funny. So make sure you shake out your jeans before you go in
Okay.
there.
Maybe I'll change my clothes.
Well, it's annoying because the gym is, like, on the way back up to the hotel room. So, you can go up to your hotel room and change, but if you're tired, you're probably
Yeah.
more likely to just go to bed. So, we usually just went straight from the stalls, that way we couldn't have the, "Oh, but I'm already back up in my room" excuse.
That is a good point.
Yeah,
Very good
yeah,
point.
yeah. Alright, is there anything else that we should touch on? I feel like that was pretty good.
Yeah, this was excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
You bet.
Yeah, are there any last thoughts? Any little pieces that we missed?
I mean, the only thing I would say is, I'm not the only one that can do this and have problems. And I think if you do work hard and you go get the right help, there's ways to get back to doing what you like. It's not the end. And I really, truly hope that this helps someone to know they can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I wanted to have you on is, sometimes people have an injury or they have something tragic happen to them that's, maybe something that's not an injury, like a major life event. And, in the moment it can feel like that's the end and you'll never get to do what you love again. And that's just not true. It might look different, but there's things that you can do to get back to doing what you love if you're crafty enough and if you work hard enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Any last pieces of advice or, uh, inspiration for anybody listening to this?
Go chase your dreams. If you don't go chase them, you're going to lose. If you do go chase them, it doesn't matter what you do, you're still going to be better off. So I would encourage everyone, just get out there and try. And remember, you're there to have fun.
Yeah.
So true. So good. All right, Elizabeth, that was so good. That was so you have such a cool story.